The sugar cane was wilting in the heat of Natal. I was looking for a paycheck, looking for a pal. Then the daughter of the president, she came into town with a smile like a diamond and a promise meant to drown. She said, boys, I got a job for you, security and guard. She's training up in Russia and the work ain't all that hard. So I packed my bag in Durban, kissed my mama at the door, thinking I was learning tactics, not heading for a war. Now I'm desperate in the dawn best, shivering in the snow, Lord. I'm 3,000 miles from the only home I know. The sky's gray and angry and the ground is frozen hard. I ain't no paramilitary, ain't no bodyguard. I'm praying to the heavens, let this nightmare end. Lord, get me out of here, back to KZN. We landed in the winter in a place I couldn't name. They handed us a paper, told us sign to play the game. But the letters were all twisted like wire on a fence. I couldn't read a single word, it didn't make no sense. It was Russian on the dotted line, a language made of ice. I signed away my freedom, didn't ask about the price. We thought we'd march and train and drill safe behind the line, but they loaded up the transport trucks and drove us to the mine. Now I'm desperate in the dawn best, shivering in the snow, Lord. I'm 3,000 miles from the only home I know. The sky's gray and angry and the ground is frozen hard. I ain't no paramilitary, ain't no bodyguard. I'm praying to the heavens, let this nightmare end. Lord, get me out of here, back to KZN. Past my head like angry hornet bees. I'm digging in the mud and dirt, shaking on my knees. This ain't no security class, this is the killing floor. I've had enough of fighting, I've had enough of war. Don't want no ruble payment, don't want no foreign glory. I just wanna live to tell my children this damn story. Dream about the woman coming off the Indian Sea and a plate of bunny chow waiting there for me. But the artillery is screaming, tearing up the trees, and I'm sending voice notes home begging, help me please. Tell the lady who recruited us she sold us out for dead, while she sits safe in luxury with roof above her head. Yeah, I'm desperate in the dawn bed, shivering in the snow, Lord. I'm 3,000 miles from the only home I know. The sky's gray and angry and the ground is frozen hard. I ain't no paramilitary, ain't no bodyguard. I'm praying to the heavens, let this nightmare end. Please get me out of here, back to KZN. Take me back to KZN. I can't read the contract, just wanna see the sun again. KZN.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program's Chris live in central Pennsylvania. It is Thanksgiving Day, a federal holiday here in the United States. And I want to welcome you back to the program. Do a sound check here very quickly. And I want to welcome you back. All right, sounds good. Welcome to the 349 people currently watching this program on a U.S. federal holiday. And it's not been a holiday for me. I worked until midnight last night and then came home and broadcast and finally went to bed after 3 and got up at 7 this morning to start working again. So not exactly a holiday for me. And we're going to talk about a number of breaking stories. I did 2 shorts yesterday about it, and then made a prepared video last night before I hit the rack about what's going on. President Trump is tired of the insults and the slights to him personally and to the United States in particular, starting, of course, earlier this year with Ibrahim Rasool calling President Donald Trump the leader of a global white supremacist movement, which is utter nonsense. The bigotry and racism emanating from senior officials in the ANC is shocking, to say the least, but it continues unabated. And finally, yesterday afternoon, President Trump had had enough, and he said that, well, I'll read it to you. And let me find if I've got the image here to bring it up on the screen. But this is from his Truth Social yesterday. Let me see if I can find this very quickly here. There it is. Okay, good beans. Okay, bring it over here. And I'll show you on the screen, and then I'll read it, okay? But this came from his Truth Social at 2:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would have been 7:41 South Africa time last night. And this is what President Donald John Trump had to say about South Africa yesterday. And it's not even Friday. So there it is. President Trump says that the United States did not attend the G20 in South Africa because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners and other descendants of Dutch, French, and German settlers. To put it more bluntly, they are killing white people and randomly allowing their farms to be taken from them. Perhaps, worst of all, the soon-to-be out-of-business New York Times and fake news media won't issue a word against this genocide. That's why all the liars and pretenders of the radical left media are going out of business. At the conclusion of the G20, South Africa refused to hand off to the G20 presidency to a senior representative from our U.S. Embassy, who attended the closing ceremony. Therefore, at my direction, South Africa will not be receiving an invitation to the 2026 G20, which we will be hosting in the great city of Miami, Florida next year. South Africa has demonstrated to the world they are not a country worthy of membership anywhere, and we are going to stop all payments and subsidies to them effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Folks, I read that sentence to you once again. South Africa has demonstrated to the world that they are not a country worthy of membership anywhere. That is a shocking statement. Now, I will also say in here that for the first time and that I can recall, without having been prompted by a question from a reporter trying to set him up, President Trump actually used the term genocide to intentionally call it what's going on. Now, in his announcement that the U.S. would not participate in the G20 summit a few days back, he had said that extermination, that was in response to a reporter once again, though, he said extermination of minorities. Here he clearly states genocide. He's saying it. And it begs the question, what information does the President of the United States have that you and I are lacking? What information? Does he have information from refugees who have been vetted and serious background investigations have been done? Does he have information from the CIA, from the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, from the military services, from the Department of Energy, from the Federal Bureau of Investigation? He must have information that we don't have access to. At some point, you have to conclude that. The things that Trump has done are not simply wild and temper tantrums, as the South African media likes to claim. But here's the bottom line. While South Africa's politicians have been patting you on the back and patting you on the head like a good little child and telling you all year long that they're negotiating with Americans for trade, I've been telling you that that's fairy tale. They are not negotiating with the Americans on trade. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense. There is no trade representative assigned or appointed to come to America. There is no special representative. Nkabisi Jonas has never been to America. He was denied a visa, for a diplomatic visa. He is not a representative to America. He may be an expert on America that they're using in the cabinet to inform the president, but he is not the special envoy to America. That's utter nonsense. There's no ambassador resident in D.C. The South African embassy is making no effort whatsoever to work with the United States to lower the tariffs. For whatever reason, the African National Congress has determined that their answer is to sell stone fruit to Vietnam, and that's going to recover the $22 billion a year in two-way trade with the United States. I'm not really sure how they think that's going to work. I really don't. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But that is their plan. So President Trump has had enough of the insults, and I said this, while the South African government wants to play the victim and run around and say, we will not be insulted by having a junior official. I mean, no, it's not a junior official. This is one of the most seasoned, experienced diplomats on the planet. Mr. Dillard has been a diplomat for 27 years. He's been a charge d'affaires in other embassies, acting in the stead of the ambassador in the ambassador's absence on more than one occasion. He has also served in Seoul, in Tokyo, in Sofia, in Paris, in Nairobi, in South Africa. And the South African government chose to insult him because of their ignorance, or they just don't care. I mean, this is beyond. Is this the 30% crowd? What is it? Is this the crowd that sat in luxury and comfort at Oxford and at Cambridge when people were in the streets throwing rocks at the police back in the 1980s? I mean, who are the people making these decisions to intentionally antagonize the President of the United States? I said at some point. To me, this is what they've been trying to do all year long. Now, the media will tell you that the Americans can't remove South Africa from the G20. And they're right. And who cares? That isn't the point. And they're trying to say the U.S. cannot block Ramaphosa from coming to the summit. Well, yes, he can. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Absolutely, folks. They can. They can. As South African officials are fond of saying, South Africa is a sovereign state. It is. But so is America. You can ask Naledi Pandor about that and her spreading of terrorism in America. Well, that's a perspective of the U.S. government. Not me, or her probably. But the bottom line is that they can hold the summit. Now, this could become a big tiff. Other G20 members can say, nope, we're going to hold an alternate location. America can't hold it there. They can try that. But America holds all the cards in this argument. It's up to Trump what happens next. The South African government would do wise not to insult. The statement from the presidency, from Ramaphosa's office, was mostly balanced, but there were a couple points in there that were simply off the mark. But the behavior of the South African government has been reprehensible, undiplomatic, while black supremacists and leftists have been running around defending them in the media and in social media. They've ignored all those slights. They think it's perfectly fine for the president of South Africa to sit around and joke and mock the president of the United States, but lose their minds when Carolyn Levitt says that Ramaphosa is running off at the mouth. Well, she said that, not because it didn't happen, but because it did happen. Yep, thank you, Transvaal Republic. 35 Rand, clouds are gathering. That's right, Neil De Beer. When I sat down with Neil De Beer shortly before he passed away, earlier this year in Gordons Bay, we had a coffee at the Crystal Beach Hotel, I think the name of it is. And Neil, who was visibly deteriorating, but still had a great spirit, and we had a great conversation. Neil, I asked him this question. I said, why are they antagonizing President Trump? I mean, is this intentional? They want to play the role of victim. They want to be martyrs. Trump has been very magnanimous so far, but eventually he's not going to deal with it anymore. When he has time to deal with it, he'll strike back if they keep attacking him. I said, is this intentional, or are they just that stupid or that dumb? And to which Neil De Beer said, Chris, you know I know these people. I was with them. They're just that stupid. Yep. Yeah, so anyway. They won't be bullied. Well, they're the ones that tried to bully the United States. Call that's impossible. You can't bully the 800-pound gorilla, but they tried. Destruction gaming, yes. Look, it's entertaining. It's like this whole situation. Are we live? Yes, Lana, we're live. Please tell her we're live. Tell her we're live so she can get to the click. Log out. Somebody tell her to log out and log back in. Leave the channel and come back. We are live. We've been live for 13 minutes. Please tell her that, okay? Don't worry about being late, Brady Lenoir. I was tardy too because I was interviewing Paratus. So that's my opening monologue. I just want to share that before we get to the news. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out about this. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, somebody please tell her to leave the stream and come back, okay? Because she's going to keep asking that question. It's very distracting. So that's what the situation we're in today. Now we have a point where, because of their reprehensible behavior during the G20 and mocking the United States, South Africa's government has put South Africa on Donald Trump's radar screen. He really wasn't paying attention to South Africa until now. There you go. Thank you, Spicy Tunes. Yeah, he really wasn't paying attention until now. Now, paying attention. Now I'm paying attention. Daniel Jacobs, it'll be my pleasure to meet you. Well, it's probably just a YouTube failure. I don't even think it's Shadowban. It's just a YouTube failure on their part. It's a big company with lots of networks, lots of servers, lots of stuff, thousands of people streaming at the same time. It's a lot of work. So, yeah, Transvaal Republic is free. I haven't read the EFF statement, but I did see the news story. So let me go ahead and get into the news because I have a short amount of time here. I'm going to run through the stories very quickly because I've covered much of what I want to say in that opening monologue. Here is President Trump's statement, as I read to you a few moments ago. Okay, that's not the right one. I need this window. Same thing, but different window. There you go. So that's his statement. And then the response from the South African government. President Cyril Ramaphosa has noted with the regrettable statement by President Donald Trump of South Africa's participation in 2026 G20 meetings. And that's a good tone to start with. The G20 South African 25 Leaders Summit, attended by several heads of state and government, was hailed by all those who attended the summit as one of the most successful summits. And that's not a bad statement either. Several heads of state. The summit produced a declaration that affirmed the indisputable strength and value of multilateralism in response to the most pressing challenges facing the world. Well, Yeah, okay. As the United States was not present at the summit, instruments of the G20 presidency were duly handed over to U.S. Embassy official at the headquarters of South African Department of National Relations and Cooperation. That's a fair statement. As one of the founding members of G20, South Africa has always valued the spirit of consensus, collaboration, and partnership that defines the G20 as the premier forum for international economic cooperation. Except the G20 is not the premier forum, the G7 is. Sorry. In keeping with this approach, the United States was expected to participate in all the meetings, but unfortunately it elected not to attend the G20 Leaders Summit out of its own volition. True. We are, however, pleased that U.S. entities such as business and civil society organizations participate in large numbers. That's also fine. South Africa is a member of G20 in its own name and right. Its G20 membership is at the behest of all other members. South Africa is a sovereign, constitutional, democratic country and does not appreciate insults from another country about its membership and worth in participating in global platforms. South Africa respects the sovereignty of all countries and will never insult or demean another country or its standing or worthiness in the community of other nations. Really, will never insult or demean another country. You honestly, that's from the Office of Presidency. You honestly, you're going to stick with that story? Is that really what you're going to try to tell us? You will never insult the sovereignty of another country? You will never undermine the sovereignty of another country? Really? Is that what you really want to tell us here?
Because as you know, there are a lot of very bad things happening. Very, very bad things. Terrible things. Terrible things. Disgrace. Among those very terrible things, there are also some very, very good things that are happening. The very terrible things.
I come back to what President Ramaphosa's statement says from the presidency. Here you go. We will never undermine, insult another country. We'll never insult another country, really?
Because as you know, there are a lot of very bad things happening. Very, very bad things. Terrible things. Terrible things happening. It's a disgrace. Among those very terrible things, there are also some very, very good things that are happening.
So it will never. We will never insult another nation. Really, we don't appreciate insults from another country about membership, and so that respects the sovereignty, and will never insult or demean another country. Really, you never insult. I'm sorry. Did we miss the part? Let's just continue with this, since we want to tell these fairy tales. Never insult. I have to get this from a different source because that doesn't come out. The sound is too low. Hang on. We will never insult. I mean, give me a break. This is comical to say the least. I mean, I've got a whole host of them here. Lies coming from South African presidency about this. And of course, now it's going to take a moment to load. It's unfortunate. But, oh, come on. Gee, many crickets. Why is it doing this? Why is the indexing not there? There it is, finally. Okay. Where is it at? Where the heck is that? Oh, here it is. Okay, we already did that one. That's not the one I want. It's downhill. I've done that many videos. Why? I didn't realize that many videos. Here it is.
We have received notice from the United States, a notice which we are still in discussions with them over, about a change of mind about participating in one shape, form, or other in the summit. So the discussions are still ongoing.
Now, that's a lie. We will never insult another country. Notice the beginning of this, he's chuckling and laughing about announcing this. He thinks it's funny that, oh, America's changed their mind, which is a lie. He set up the lie. Ramaphosa and Durko set up the lie, falsely claiming the United States had announced that they want to attend the conference. They never did that. No verbal is out there. It's been released to the public, and it says, well, it was released by the South African government because they're not that bright. We're not realizing that they set themselves up to look stupid. But the South African government put the no verbal out there. It was spread around, and showing the U.S. we could send a delegation after the summit was over to the closing ceremony to take over the presidency. But he comes on here and laughs about it. He thinks it's funny, and this is what he does with the European Union.
We have received notice.
I will leave that comment with, we will never insult another country. What do you call that? What do you call the mocking of the bad things happening? And of course, this is a response to that.
Explain because there is not a shift. The United States is not participating in official talks at the G20 in South Africa. I saw the South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated by the president or his team. The ambassador or the representative of the embassy in South Africa is simply there to recognize that the United States will be the host of the G20. They are receiving that send-off at the end of the event. They are not there to participate in official talks, despite what the South African president is falsely claiming.
Falsely claiming. So that's the reality. And he did that in order to make America look bad. We will never insult or mock another country. Really? Really? It sure looked to me like they were doing that. Sure looked to me like they were doing that. And the list goes on and on. I mean, these are the greatest hits. These are just recent ones. And there's many, many more here. Here's another one. Let me jump ahead on this one. So here's another him mocking the United States.
Crossing the T's.
Without the United States.
Well, without the United States, the whole process of the G20 is moving forward.
You will not be bullied.
We will not be bullied. We will not agree to be bullied. Thank you.
We will not be bullied. We will not agree to be bullied. Nobody was bullying you, and that was not a diplomatic answer. And that's not the way you respond to that. And I've covered how you should respond to that. Here's another one. This is on Christian Amanpour.
As you have said with regards to the program of a refugee, when you look at it, it's race-based. Firstly, you must be a white South African, and secondly, you must be an Afrikaner. So it's a race-based.
So that's a lie. The U.S. Embassy website says otherwise. And I implore colored and Indian South Africans who've come over to help dispel this lie. It's time to expose this. Please come on this channel and do an interview and come on camera so that we can show people. I mean, I think you owe it. You owe it to others who've had a chance to escape to disprove these lies. You know you're over here, and there are many of you. So there's that. And then, where's the other one at here? Another one, I got one more, the CNN, Donny O'Sullivan. Ronald Lamola, once again, also doing the same sort of thing. I need to put these in a folder because they're starting to stack up so far behind. Where's it at? Getting close to it here. Oh, here it is.
The foreign minister had to say when we asked him about it.
Yes.
You think Trump is
pursue the agenda of white to pursue the agenda of.
Okay, here it is. So this is on Donny O'Sullivan's Misinformation, White Genocide, which was not the documentary I agreed to participate in. It came out very different. So this is Donny O'Sullivan on CNN and with Ronald Lamola on the 16th of November.
It's fear-mongering to pursue the agenda of white supremacy.
You think Trump is pursuing a white supremacist agenda?
Yes, I think so. With the program to take the white Afrikaners from South Africa, it's a clear program to back up the issue of white supremacy.
Okay, that's dumb as a box of rocks. How does taking white South Africans out of South Africa back up white supremacy in South Africa? It doesn't. Are you claiming it's white supremacy in America? So 400 South Africans is going to make a difference in a pool of 330 million people and change demographics? Not very smart people we're dealing with here, folks. Not very smart people. So, yeah, we will never insult another country. Really. I need to make a video just on that later today when I have time. We will never insult. And put that on the screen. And then put those up. Yep. Yeah, one sandwich short of a picnic. I think you're right about that. Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to take this statement. I'm going to copy the text down before they're not going to delete it. They don't care about what I have to say. And that's fine. They obviously don't listen to me. I mean, they listen, but they obviously don't listen. I give them advice. But I need to save that statement. So give me a second here. And so that this thing is, there we go. Well, that's tiny, tiny script. There we go. Space it out, 1.5. Okay, good. All right, so, yep. Anyway, unbelievable, unbelievable. So let's get back to the news. That's what they say. They will never undermine the sovereignty or insult the country. Undermine the sovereignty, really? You undermine American sovereignty at every turn. You've been doing it for years, and you've been getting away with it. So it's just we're not tolerating it anymore as a country. Our chief executive says no, and it's about time. Trump threatens to exclude South Africa from next G20 summit in Miami. And he can do that. He can't kick them out of the G20. He has no authority for that, and I never claimed he could. But the reality is that he can simply not let them come to the conference. It's on U.S. soil. I mean, I don't know how complicated that is for people to understand. It's a very bad diplomatic approach, but it can be done. Trump says he's barring South Africa from participating in next year's G20 summit near Miami at Doral Golf Club. South Africa looks beyond the U.S. to G20 presidency as Trump moves to block participation. So they're looking for when the UK takes over. Okay, fine. Ramaphosa urges G20 unity amid Trump's South Africa exclusion. Okay. You can't exclude South Africa from G20 global support rallies. Really, global support, Yasmin. Who is this global support? Tensions between Washington reached a new high this week after U.S. President Trump announced that South Africa would be barred from the 2026 G20 summit and face the immediate suspension of all U.S. financial support. Well, the thing is that there is no U.S. financial support for South Africa. To my knowledge, President Trump suspended all foreign aid in February. All foreign aid to South Africa was suspended in his executive order. We stopped giving $400 to $500 million a year to South Africa. Several politicians' foundations weighed in on the matter, defending South Africa's right to be at next year's summit. The FW de Klerk Foundation issued a definitive statement asserting that South Africa is an equal sovereign member and the nation will not be bullied out of global forums by misinformation. The foundation's statement issued by Ismail Yusuf directly confronted President Trump's justification. And then this comes after Trump had posted on Truth Social. These statements are not only factually incorrect, they are diplomatically untenable. In a post on X, former Indian Foreign Secretary said that Trump seeks to decimate the G20. U.S. is only presiding over G20 next year. It doesn't have the authority to unilaterally exclude any member from participation. Actually, yes, the U.S. does have the authority. They do. The U.S. can deny visas and you can't come to the events. I'm not recommending that. I'm not suggesting they should do that, but I'm just saying it's just stupid to make such a statement. That's just bluster on his part. Kanwal Sibal, you're not very smart. If the summit was in India and you didn't want Americans there, you could stop them from coming. Are you serious? Give me a break, man. This guy's stupid. EFF also spoke out in the suggesting Trump's ban is a tantrum. Despite the U.S.'s absence, South Africa successfully secured a full leader's declaration. No, that's not true. That's a lie, EFF. Javier Milei's delegation was present and they refused to sign this bullshit document, and the U.S. didn't sign it. It's not a full leader's declaration. You're a lying sack of horse manure, EFF. You know? I'm gonna have to turn in my red beret, you know. I'm sorry, EFF, but it's been a nice time being a lovely member of your stupid-ass organization, but it's time for me to hit the road. I'm going to have to throw away this beret now. Can't be in the EFF. I mean, if you're this stupid, you're going to have to not be in the EFF. So there you go. There you go, folks. Just can't do it. Can't do it. So, yeah, anyway. And they talk about international, but you've got the only international person here in global support. This is just total nonsense, Yasmin. Global support. The only thing you mention in this story about the U.S. is global support rallying. The only rallying is an Indian former foreign minister. He's not even in government. He's a former foreign minister. And that's your example of global support rallying around Ramaphosa. It may come, but you don't have it yet. That's just propaganda. Just propaganda on the part of the toilet paper of record, the Independent Online. Typical. Matlatla admits his sister fronted Medicare 24 Schwane contract. This story just gets crazier every day. EFF slams Trump's tantrum over the G20. Yeah, okay. By the way, where's that school? Can somebody tell me where the school is that they built? Remember, they promised that we'll build a school within 5 years, and if we don't vote for us. Where's the school that they built? What exactly has the EFF ever done for anyone? Anybody know? Anybody know? I don't. I can't account for anything they've ever done other than cause chaos. EFF urged G20 members to uphold South Africa's rightful inclusion after Donald Trump threatened exclusion. Well, the G20 members cannot uphold the exclusion or inclusion. How can they do that? The summit is not in barren Switzerland. The summit is not in New Delhi. The summit is not in Moscow. The summit is not in Beijing. The summit is not in Rio de Janeiro. The summit is in Miami. So you want to send South African officials on a plane to be landing only to be turned away? I mean, look, I'm not saying they should do that, but I mean, stop being stupid here. This is not the approach. This blustering is not the approach. And they don't get it. They don't understand who they're dealing with here. Yeah, they can't even build a pit latrine. Kasatu dismissed claims of white genocide in South Africa, debunked falsehoods, praised South Africa's successful G20 presidency, and affirmed multilateral principles. Well, good for Kasatu. Good for Kasatu. South Africa delivered at the G20, and Trump delivered a tantrum, according to the Daily Maverick. It's Ready Talibi. Yeah, is she not moaning about America? America's not coming down. security costs are so unfair. Meanwhile, Nigeria pulled out last minute. Yep. Nigeria didn't show up last minute. They didn't make it. 6 global leaders weren't there. Most of them only identified that to the South African government shortly before, except for China and Russia, which they knew they weren't going to send their leaders. So, yeah. And by the way, if you're going to say, well, yeah, but they still send delegation, that's not the same. VIP security for the head of a state is much different than just diplomats and people who show up for meetings. It's very different. The level of planning that's necessary, the coordination, deconfliction that takes place. So Ready to Libby was here. She lives in luxury here in America, lives safely in America, not has to deal with the crime in South Africa, and she craps all over America every day. I suggest she stop doing that. Yep. Anyway. Trump is doubling down on his lies, according to Cockprot 24's Andrew Thompson. He technically can't block us from the G20. Yeah, he can. He can. Crime data, court rulings, lobby groups, and influencers most sympathetic to Trump's narrative show there's no white genocide. There's also no pattern of random government-sanctioned land seizures. No one's claiming there's random government sanctions. You're missing the point entirely. Oh, my goodness. And, this is just more Cockprot 24. So this is how they talk about people not being targeted. More than 27,000 murders nationwide. Farm murders account for roughly 0.2%. Missed the point entirely. You can't reason with people like this. Hey, the Cat in the Hat supposedly wanted money. He wanted $1 million and asked to stay at his penthouse, Matatla tells Parliament. Look at that. The Cat in the Hat. Oh, boy, it looks like his hands are very dirty. Tenderpreneur Vusimusi Cat Matatla has escalated his allegations against former Minister Beckett Chile, telling Parliament's ad hoc committee that Chile initially requested 1 million rand and frequently asked to stay at his luxurious Pretoria penthouse. The money was allegedly a payment for helping him intervene to halt alleged harassment from members of the Political Killings Task Team. Wow. First payment, he said he paid him twice, $300,000 in January, and the second payment in March was $200,000 in Durban. Both transactions were made in cash and wrapped in a shopping bag, which he referred to as a Woolies bag. Wow. It's getting crazy, folks. This is a doo-doo matter. It's a doo-doo matter. It's caca. Doo-doo matter. It's caca. Yes. MK distanced himself from Dududzila Zuma Sambudla. What was that? Yes. The MK party is distancing itself entirely from the scandal involving its member of parliament, Dududzila Zuma Sambula, and the alleged luring of South African men into the Russia-Ukraine conflict, saying the allegations are not theirs to answer, but hers. True. MK party has enough of its own problems without falling in disrepute from her. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Oh, and of course, here we have Mohammed Hussein telling us why Donald Trump can't kick South Africa out of the G20. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. We don't need you to write stuff on here. U.S. as G20 host next year can practically excuse South Africa from U.S.-based meetings, including Leaders Summit, by withholding invitations and visas. That's what I've said. Facts. That would not expel South Africa and would not be unprecedented. It would be unprecedented and highly politically charged if other members actively disagree. Yep, there you go. That's what I said. So there you go. There you go. Facts. But, you don't have to tell people that. I guess you do. People aren't that bright. MK Party wrestles award from the ANC in KZN in a by-election. The MK Party snatched award from the ANC in the highly contested by-election in Mandani on the North Coast. Ward 17, after the ANC expelled their councillor. This came after the murder of Mandani resident Siyabonga Makoba, who was brutally beaten to death. Well, there you go. MK won the ward with 1,316 votes. ANC 642, and the IFP got 199. So MK is just really... Yes, well, Dudu needs to be thrown under the bus. Her actions are reprehensible in many ways. The Special Investigative Unit recovered $13.5 million from the Tembisa Hospital scandal. Special Investigating Unit says it has recovered $13.5 million from Tembisa Hospital nurse Zachariah Chisela, who was arrested this week after allegedly attempting to bribe a Hawks investigating officer. Gee, many crickets. It just never ends, does it? Billions. Early morning transactions and robbing the police inside Joburg's crazy G20 summit. Yep. While South Africa's hosting of the G20 Leaders Summit has been lauded a success, the event was marred by dramatic incidents, including crime, negotiated transactions, outages, potholes, and broken streetlights. In a press briefing on Tuesday, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi said there were 1,799 arrests in the week leading up to the summit. He said that during the flagship meeting, police had to deal with a case of trespassing against members of Operation Dudula. They are accused of trying to raid the Nasrec Expo Center where world leaders were gathered. Meanwhile, their colleagues were helping negotiate a business transaction gone wrong across town. We had 2 pilots from Brazil who were in an Uber with 2 ladies whom they met at an entertainment area. After failing to agree to a certain transaction with these ladies, the 2 pilots decided to leave the Uber and wanted to walk to Kempton Park from Sandton. Kempton Park to Sandton. They wanted to walk. Seriously? What, you got like 9 hours? And firearms and body armor? But police intercepted them, and they managed to provide the necessary support, and they resolved the matter with the ladies involved. They agreed to reduce transaction of 100 to 30% with a discount of 70%. The matter was, you can't make this up. So, did I miss something? What exactly were they selling? Avon? Were they selling Avon? What were the ladies selling? What were they offering? Anybody know what the ladies were offering? Lemons? Nartki fruit? What were the ladies offering? Anybody want to guess what they're offering? Could they be whores? Could they be whores? So the police negotiated for prostitutes to make a transaction. Is that what happened here? What do you think? Melons and Cook Sisters. There you go. Stress relief. Yes, herpes. Seriously? Seriously? The police. Yeah, I got you. I know what that word means. Yeah. Seriously? It's in the media. I mean, the police negotiated the transaction for prostitution. I mean, unless they're Avon salesmen. Maybe they're selling Amway. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's just crazy. Oh. Well, Gauteng's core services may be shut down because they owe Microsoft $25 million. No, you can't make it up, King Kong. You can't make it up. Gauteng's government core service at risk over $344 million Microsoft debt. They warned the DA. 3 entities, the largest amount of outstanding debt were e-government, turned $17 million, health $89 million, and education $37 million. So no more Word, no more PowerPoint, no more Excel coming very soon for Gauteng because they can't pay Microsoft $25 million they owe them. Once again, I'm going to cover this story because it needs to be covered. The Road Accident Fund, which is insolvent, it's bankrupt, it's not a going concern, state-owned enterprise, and they paid themselves $6.8 million in bonuses, $6.7 million. Executives of the Embattled Road Accident Fund gave themselves $6.74 million worth of performance bonuses, despite the fact that the corporation is essentially bankrupt. Yeah, it's good to be the king. You can give yourself big tips. Yep. Well, the United States tables a new bill to punish South Africa, except this is old news. Written on the 25th of November. Shame on Business Tech for resurrecting something from September. This is Senator John Kennedy's bill, but it's going nowhere. Hope for Africa, but maybe not for South Africa. It's another story in Business Tech. There is no hope. AGOA is dead. It's not coming back anytime soon. South African Broadcasting Corporation ran a story and posted here on Facebook that the systemic removal of Boer history from the curriculum. Yep. Crazy stuff. Kobus Reinach will get his 50th test match against Wales. Wow. Congratulations. I really hate that warm-up jersey. It's hideous looking. Springbok scrum half Kobus Reinach earns his 50th test cap when he takes the field against Wales at Principality Stadium on Saturday. Starting 15 for the final match of the outgoing tour features 9 changes from 5 p.m. South Africa time. Wait a second. I got to check on when this game is on. That is not the time I had scheduled. Maybe I'll be able to cover my Stormers game then. Whoa, going to be a busy Saturday then. So Wales versus South Africa. Okay. Oh, they got a 7-1 split. They've announced their lineup. Okay, 10 o'clock. Oh, good. They told me it was on at 12. 11. It's 10, go 12. Yeah, okay, I'll be able to cover the Stormers then. Yay! I'm happy now. 7-1 split. Yeah, let's see what they got here. Damien Willemse, Ethan Hooker, Damien De Allende, Under Esthuizen, Kanan Moody, Sasha Feinberg Ungumzula, Morne Vandenberg, Steenkamp, Gerbela, Wilcolo, Jean Klein, Ron Nortkia, Sia Khaleesi, Franco Mostart's back, and Cobus Visa. Off the bench, Bongiam Benami is back. Porthen, Labakanye, Etzebeth, Van Staden, Dixon, Smith, and Cobus Reinach. So Cobus Reinach will come off the bench to get his 50th cap. There you go. The U.S. group is suing Apple over DRC conflict minerals. A U.S.-based advocacy group has filed a lawsuit in Washington accusing Apple of using minerals linked to conflict and human rights abuses in the Congo. International Rights Advocates has previously sued Tesla, Apple, and other tech firms over cobalt sourcing. But that case was dismissed last year, so they're going to waste more time and money. The Ethiopian volcano, the plumes of ash canceled flights from India. Ash plumes from volcanic eruption in Ethiopia caused parts of Pakistan and northern India, covered parts of Pakistan and northern India on Tuesday, forcing Air India and Alaska Air, Akasa Air, to cancel some flights as a precaution because of the ash. Kidnapped Nigerian school girls have been released. Is it all of them? A group of 24 girls who were abducted from government boarding school in northwest Nigeria last week have been released. The Hong Kong fire death toll has risen to 65. This is horrific, folks, and hundreds more are reported missing. Hundreds more reported missing. By the way, folks, Tokyo is no longer the world's largest city. It's Jakarta with 42 million residents. That is insane. There's the skyline of Jakarta in 2022. Jakarta, Indonesia has 42 million residents. That's just insane. That's the size of a country. One city, Jakarta, has 2/3 of South Africa's entire population. That's just crazy. 12% of America's population. Lots of flight delays yesterday. Thousands of travelers are stranded in Europe, including Ireland, Netherlands, France, UK, Belgium, as Ryanair, KLM, Air France, British, Brussels faced 76 flight cancellations, 1,301 delays in Dublin, Amsterdam, Paris, London, Brussels, and beyond, caused by a host of issues. According to them, they're saying it's technical problems, staff shortages, weather-related issues. Massive delays, people not getting around Europe. Shame. What a mess. 2 National Guardsmen were shot in a targeted attack, which is being investigated as a terrorism incident by an Afghan national who was not vetted and led into this country by the criminal enterprise of the Biden regime. They're fighting for the life of this hour in critical condition. Earlier today, Judge Janine Pirro gave a press briefing on this topic. And I have an issue here. We have a gentleman there who is not clean-shaven, the second from the left. That is not acceptable. Someone needs to talk to that soldier who is also overweight to go get a razor. 2 West Virginia National Guard members deployed to the nation's capital were shot Wednesday afternoon just blocks from the White House in a brazen act of violence that the mayor described as a targeted attack. Yes, it's insane. Unvetted criminal alien invaders to come to America and cause this chaos. Let me just check on something here very quickly here. Oh, email. Hang on. That's good. I can go find this real quick. Yeah, I was wondering where it was at. Okay. Okay. Hmm. I've been told I was emailed this thing, but I don't see it. All right. After this, I'll be on Bosparat with Robin Gibbsy and Vena Dutoy. So just waiting for that link, which I don't seem to have here. Huh. All right. So it's like that SARS lady who queried her bonus of $1 million, stating something along the lines of, "Why does she get it as she spends her days playing solitaire?" Yikes. Did you check out the video? It was just passing. He said exactly what Chris said about AGOA. Okay. Okay. Max has got something for me here. What's he got? U.S. Special Forces operation underway in Somalia. Confirmed reports indicating the American Special Forces have launched a major ground assault against Islamic State, Somalia province in Puntland. Wow. 100 special operations deployed deep into Puntland. Wow. There's a direct U.S. ground combat deep inside one of the most entrenched African hideouts. Wow. 13-second video here. I can't play that. Well, that's the link for that, but I need the link too. All right, sorry about that, folks. Biden administration literally brought enemies. Yes, they did, King Kong, and they should be prosecuted for it. Chris, do you think Mark Kelly will be called to active duty in court-martial? No, I think it's all grandstanding, but he should be called to active duty for that. Yeah, he undermined the chain of command, and you can't do that. You can't do that. You have no idea how relieved we feel that there are people who see what kind of people we have to face on a daily basis. Frustrating. Well, Janine, I've seen what you face on a daily basis, and when I was in the intelligence committee, I reported on this on a daily basis, but different administrations, different times. They found intel to links with other countries. What are you talking about, Krista? Erasmus68, thank you for your membership. Appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member. Is the alerts off? It probably is because I had, hang on a second here. Where's my alerts at? I don't see it here. Where is that? I always have a hard time finding this damn alerts thing when I'm looking for it. There it is. And it is turned off. That's why. Thank you for being with us Thanksgiving. You're very welcome. Good night, Anna Kruger. Do you think Mark Kelly... Okay, I already answered that. Okay. Only watched the beginning was boring. You check the video. Okay. What's Friday and Saturday? What do you mean, Thomas Herbst? What's that all about? Okay, let me see. Got it. Okay, cool. All right, I'll be on for a couple more minutes, then I'm going to head off to that event. So, yep, that's with Bosparat. I've got my link. Yeah, what am I missing here in the chat? South Africa should switch to Linux and Libra as cut cost as possible. But you need to learn how it works. French government tried it out. Yep, no fees to them. Yep, agreed. Then there's Open Office. That's another. Open Office works just as well. It looks a lot like Microsoft. Hawkon was dumb enough to do a video on the possible return of AGOA today. I don't know what Ronaldo did. What's Ronaldo do? AGOA is not coming back, folks. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Philip Petzer's on right now saying that Trump's ever escalating war in South Africa's government. No, he's no ever escalating war. I take issue with that. That's simply not true. Simply not true. Simply not true, folks. There's no escalating war. Yep. South, okay, I already read that. They were selling for... okay, that's back there. Tell me something, and I'm not trying to be racist. Isn't it true the closer you live to the equator, the darker your skin is? That's a generally, I mean, that's how pigmentation develops over time, correct? That's correct, over time. But the arrival of the Nguni-speaking Bantu peoples is recent. They've only arrived in southern Africa 1,300 years ago. So many of them still carry the traits that were brought with them from West Africa as they migrated from West Africa across to what became Uganda and ran into fierce opposition and turned south, instead going down the Rift Valley over the course of centuries. Hey, Joan, what's going on? Well, that's because Ronaldo stole my program. I had Briberoos long before Ronaldo had that program. That was every other Thursday with Byron. Courtney McBride, good to see you there. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, fellow veteran. LibreOffice is new version of OpenOffice. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oracle bought it out, and then developers left due to licensing. Gotcha. You're right, Fisher. Yeah, that's right. It was OpenOffice. Now it's LibreOffice. Yeah, I have a copy of it somewhere. Yep. Yeah, LibreOffice. In fact, I'll show people where to get that. Save yourself a lot of money because it's compatible with Microsoft. LibreOffice download. Here you go. Let me find it. Download LibreOffice. Here you go. And up to version 25 already. Wow. There you go. LibreOffice 25.8.3, our latest stable release. There you go. Windows 64-bit. Yep. Let me see how big it is. I'll download. I haven't done it in a long time. That's it? 2.8 megabytes? That's crazy. Oh, no. It's 348, I was going to say. That's the help. Yep. So now I've downloaded it. Cool. Yep. Kind of a handy thing to have. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it for me. Got to go. I'm joining Vena Dutoy and Robin Gimpsey over there. So please join us over on Bosparat on his channel. Can somebody link it real quick? What's this? This video is amazing. Atlanta Airport. What is this? Oh, yeah. We'll save that for a little bit later. All right, thanks, everybody. Thank you for the super chat there, Mad Max. See you guys, okay? Enjoy your day. And for our American viewers, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for being here. Take care. Be well. God bless.